Yo, so guys, it's Tom and welcome back to a brand new video and finally a brand new career mode episode here for the USA Grand Prix at the brilliant COTA circuit. And first of all, guys, I want to say a big thank you for supporting the channel, and I do apologise, just recently the upload's slowing down once again. I'm in my final exams and these next 2 weeks have been very hard, and I'm expecting a lot more exams to come. So from about now until about maybe the 8th or 9th of June, more or less, I'm going to be tied up in exams. I'm going to still try and get some videos out. My plan is to get this one up today on Saturday and then another one on Sunday tomorrow. And also I thank you for Carp as well, guys. A massive thank you for the support on there. But we're going to focus on this video now and jump into things here for COTA now. First of all, as you can see in Q1, getting a pretty good job getting into Q2 quite comfortably on the super soft tyre there, and we're going to move on to Q2 where we would actually strap on a set of soft tyres, and that's going to be the racing tyre that we're going to try and start with here as we go through the final couple of corners now, just trying to finish off our lap. And it's getting slightly overcast here at COTA, so there's a chance of rain in Q3. We're going to go in fastest as we now go through the final corner, and we're going to come out of the corner, good traction in the exit, open up DRS and across the line for P5, and that lap should just about get us through into the final part of qualifying in Q3. And the car felt really good around this circuit, and the setup was working nicely, and hopefully we can try and carry that form over into Q3. But however, the rain made its presence felt, and there's very strange conditions here in Q3 and almost a glitch of sorts. So it was raining to a point where it wasn't wet enough for inters but not dry enough for dry tyres. It was right on the knife edge, and it was one of those where you have to be on the track all the time, but you only have one set of dry tyres available to you, or two sets, you know, in Q3. But the rain was meant to get worse as the session progressed, so I went out straight away really early on in the session here, and so far the lap's been okay. You know, obviously not as fast as ideally possible in the dry conditions, but so far so good as we now make our way into the second sector. And it's just a question of trying to keep around the black stuff, maybe use some higher gears to try and play around with the car, and also using the lower gears to get the nose in for the corners, and then obviously like I said, the high gears to try and get the traction on the exit. But as you can see, going into the hairpin now, and so far that's still going pretty well. Nice apex there, a little bit of a squirmy exit on traction, but the rain is slowly coming down and just making that track a little bit greasy on the surface, and really awkward conditions right now for everybody involved. However, I've noticed that the AI seem to have sort of like I don't know how to say it, just like an advantage over me. It's like because they're computer coded, they have like almost like a grip hack, or they have a little bit more grip that I can't find, and it was very hard for me to try and compete in the session. I re-recorded Q3 various times because I didn't know what was happening, and eventually this was my best lap out of Q3, and it's actually pretty decent, I've got to say. And as you can see, I've still kept in the black stuff quite nicely. The car's driving quite nicely as a whole, and it's just only a couple more corners to go now before the lap is over, and I'm trying to put the power down, trying to be as aggressive as possible. Also just about hit my apex there, run a little bit wide on the exit of the curb as we now prepare ourselves for the final corner here. Third gear, Verstappen goes fastest there. Can we try and beat Max Verstappen for first place here at COTA? No, we can't. We're nowhere near Max Verstappen in the very competitive Red Bull car, and I think now Daniel Ricciardo, there you go, a 1:39, so incredible lap time there from the other Red Bull, and I can't compete with those lap times. And eventually, like I said, with the glitched grip, I was nowhere come the end of the session. So a very disappointing qualifying session. I tried all different sort of things, trying to going out early, late, and in the middle of the session, and the grip was always at its best at the start. So a very strange situation there, and a very disappointing Q3. But hopefully we could try and rectify that and have a pretty good race on the Sunday. So without further ado, let's jump into the race. So here we are for the race on Sunday at COTA at the famous circuit of the Americas here in Austin, Texas, and one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. And after qualifying yesterday, a very disappointing session with the AI being a bit glitched in my opinion. Like I said before, the timing not seemingly adding up with the pace of the cars, and something obviously weird going on there. But looking at our strategy of this race, we do have very similar conditions to what we had in Japan last time out, and basically I'm going to try and avoid what I did last time in Japan, which was a horrific strategy call, and this time I'm actually going to do a pit stop and come in for some fresh tyres. So as you can see, the rain is expected to come later on in the race, and obviously based off of the picture there, it should come around the halfway point, and I'm going to kick things off on the soft tyre, which I obviously qualified on, and then I'm going to go back onto another soft tyre, hopefully a nice fresh one, and then try and drag that out until the rain arrives. Hopefully that'll be the correct strategy. Also, as you can see in terms of the fuel, quite severely underfueled this time around. I'm going to try and be quite aggressive on the fuel, and try and really be aggressive from the get-go here. P10, hopefully getting a few places into turn 1, so hopefully we're going to have a good race on Sunday. To be honest with you, we need to win this race, otherwise our championship could be in serious doubt. So without further ado, let's jump right into the race. Right, here we go. The pressure is on. We're getting towards the nitty-gritty part of season 5. red lights for the American Grand Prix, and it's going to be lights out and away we go. Going to try and pick up a good start here. Pretty decent traction on these soft tyres as we now go up into turn 1 for the first time this race. Got plenty of space on the inside here. We've got Kvyat as high as 6th place in the Toro Rosso. Hamilton and Ocon coming to blows down the exit of turn 1. Back in, stepping at me, but a pretty good start up into P5. Fantastic start. 5 places gained, taking the inside line into the first corner. So exactly the sort of start I needed for this race. And I'm now right up in the mix with the big boys, which is ideal for me. And I couldn't have asked for a better start this race. So absolutely fantastic beginning here to the American Grand Prix. Now it's a question of settling into rhythm on these soft tyres. Right, Lewis has got past his teammate Nico Rosberg, and Raikkonen is really putting away up front, really getting the hammer down, quite impressively actually. And he's not a threat for me right now in the championship. I just need to finish ahead of Ricciardo. That is the main goal of this race. I need to finish ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, and he's right there ahead of Lewis. So right now the pace is good. I'm all over the gearbox of Nico Rosberg. I feel like I've got some pretty good pace on these soft tyres. The back end, as proven there, is snapping on me a little bit, which I don't really like. But other than that, the car is driving beautifully, and I should be within range here of getting past Nico Rosberg if I get a good exit out of the hairpin here, which I've had a pretty good one actually. Now it's a question of opening up the DRS. Rosberg should have DRS on Hamilton, but it's no problem as I've got a great run on the Mercedes driver. The Ferrari power unit really coming through there and really helping me out, and that's an easy move up into P4, getting past the German quite convincingly. Wow, okay, so light rain in 5 minutes. That came out of nowhere. So there's me just making sure that the rain is coming, and out of nowhere, it's only 5 minutes away. So we'll see what happens. But oh, now do I stay on this tyre? I've got the exact same dilemma as Suzuka, but the rain's only 5 minutes away, and I'm expecting to stop around lap 9. So wow, this is really thrown up in the air now. Right, Ricciardo and Hamilton actually come in. I'm staying out for one more lap, and I've got DRS off of Hamilton, so thank you very much. Raikkonen still staying out for one more lap. The man set the pace up front, and I'm pretty much matching my personal best, so my lap times are good. I think right now, as things stand, looking at my tyre wear, I could be staying out until the rain comes on these tyres, so we'll have to just see how things pan out. Kimi's still staying out them super soft tyres, and he's actually keeping the gap to me pretty much the same. He's doing an incredible job on those. Personal best up of the race for me there, but Kimi really keeping the gap around 10 seconds and doing a fantastic job on them warm super soft tyres, and now the rain has officially arrived. So the question is, will Kimi pit for inters, or will he do like a buggy AI pit stop and go into super softs again? Because I know what AI like. But for the constructors, I'd like Kimi to just stay out and wait to inters, but you never know in this game, as I lose the back end, so the conditions starting to get tricky now here at Kota already. The rain coming down at a pretty considerable rate. Kimi's in the pits. I literally predicted it like half a lap ago. I want to say he hopefully will go into inters, but I've got a feeling he's going to go into another set of dryers, and that's, yep, there we go, onto medium tyres, so that's going to completely screw him over. So the Ferrari crew just completely getting the strategy wrong here, and Kimi's going to go backwards, unfortunately, so it's up to me to try and bring out some pride for the Scuderia this race, and I think by the end of this lap I could be coming in for intermediates because the track is getting wet very quickly, and we've got a yellow flag further down the road for some reason, so let's just keep an eye out for that. But so far, the conditions are getting very tense here at Kota. BSC, there we go. So the conditions obviously causing some sort of incident somewhere on the track, but I'm going to pit at the end of this lap for intermediates, because I doubt the virtual safety car will still be there by the time I get to the pit lane, but even still I'm going to come in this lap anyway, because the conditions are just getting a little bit too poor, and the track's getting a bit too wet now for these tyres. Right, here we go then, into the pit lane. The track's way too wet, especially bang on as the virtual safety car ends, so we are going to gain a little bit of time, but here we go into the pit lane, slow it all down, make sure we don't speed, and let's go straight onto those intermediates. So hopefully we can have a nice clean pit stop. Kimi's going to be right behind us, obviously. I think a lot of the AI cars will be. So onto inters, and we should rejoin in a net race lead, because obviously we've timed that strategy beautifully. So unlike Suzuka, this has worked out beautifully for us, and we're going to be in a very comfortable position now for the remainder of this race. Oh wow, I don't know what's happened there. No one's retired from the race, but that's just come out of nowhere. So we got a safety car, which is going to completely ruin my deficit. I was just about to give a sit rep across the line, half race distance sit rep, and basically Ricciardo in the crossover from from dries to intermediates, he was actually hung out to dry. He was he went out one more lap on mediums in the wet conditions, so he would have been way down the order, but he's now been given a second chance. But crucially, Championship Rivals has actually been given a second bite of the cherry, and also now Raikkonen, who was catching me a couple of attempts per lap, is now going to be right on my gearbox for the restart. But here's the thing, as Raikkonen pits, this is what's throwing me off. The heavy rain is on its way, and I'm just wondering if it may be worth pitting now at the end of this lap for full wet, regardless of where I come out, because the heavy rains are about 5 minutes away, and I can potentially save myself a pit stop if I can pull this off and time it correctly. So let's just see how things pan out, but I'm going to try and maybe switch to a full wet tyre before the whole pack catches up to us. Okay, so in a bid to try and really solidify my race win, I'm going to go and risk it with the strategy. I'm going to come in for a set of full wet tyres, and I'm going to hope that I can get to the end of those tyres and also save myself basically a pit stop. So let's see how this pans out. I'm going to have a whole pit lane completely to myself. Raikkonen came in for another set of intermediates, so he's going to have to come in for full wets eventually at some time, and hopefully both of the Red Bulls. A 1.8 pit stop, they're absolutely brilliant there from the Ferrari crew. If I'm lucky, I'm going to rejoin in maybe P6 if not P7, just behind Bottas. So I have to wait and see. Let's try and get our way under speed here, and let's see where Bottas is. I think he's going to get me just, yes he does, he just gets me, but I'm going to come out in P7, so not too shabby, and I'm now on the better tyre for when the conditions get worse in the next few minutes. So hopefully now I need the rain to just start tumbling down, and hopefully I'll regain first place. Okay, so the safety car's in this lap, and I'm going to say this, I think I've absolutely nailed the call onto full wets, and expect everybody now to come in to the pit lane at the end of this lap for full wet tyres. And if anyone does stay, it's because they don't want a double stack, but right now this is definitely full wet conditions, way too wet for intermediates, and let's just see exactly how many cars come into the pit lane and how many stay out. So let's wait and see. There you go, everybody comes in. Verstappen stays out as he is the Red Bull who's going to have to stack. So there you go, Perez now out of the race as well here at Kota, and everybody fighting into the pit lane, and basically if I just get past Verstappen, I've got the race win on a silver freaking platter. So let's try and get Verstappen, get past him straight away on the advantage of these faster tyres, make the move nice and early, and take the lead of the race, and just cruise off into the sunset hopefully, and not have any more left field curveballs like the safety car that we had in the previous stint, which was completely unexpected. But I've got to say, compared to Suzuka, my strategy this race has been so much more perfectly timed and on point, and I'm so much more happy myself with the resulting strategy that I've had so far. So there goes Verstappen into the pit lane, and that's going to officially promote me back into the lead of the race here at Kota, and finally I can breathe and take it nice and easy on these tyres, keep it out of the wall, and just try and bring the car home and try and pick up a massive 25 points that I really need for the championship. Right, I've just realised the track's a bit dry, so I'm going to come in for intermediates because the track is definitely drying up again, and there's still a few laps to go in this race, and I'd rather finish the race on the right tyre. So the mechanics just recommended me to go into intermediates, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I think there's a few cars who have pit. I couldn't probably top the minimap, but it looks like a few cars may have come in for inters, but the track definitely looks like it could be dry enough, so I'm going to come in. I've got a nice cushion, and even if worst comes to worst, I've got the better tyre to overtake the cars on track anyway. But I think Verstappen is in the pits behind, coming in for intermediates also anyway, so I'm going to have a nice little cushion still in first place there. So a pretty successful job there, and a nice simple pit stop, rejoining in first place, and now it's going to be a nice smooth run to the flag. Okay, so here we go then, through the final sector for one final time here at Kota, and it's been an absolute strategy masterclass for myself today. Unlike Suzuka last time out, I've absolutely bossed the strategy, and crucially Ricciardo is on his second or third place. I'm going to get a nice few points back on him, but here we go, we win the American Grand Prix. Incredible race, not the most incredible in terms of action, but in terms of personal satisfaction, absolutely nailing the strategy on so many different occasions in the changeable conditions, and absolutely hitting the nail on the head with every single lap time, and just everything working out to a T. Absolutely incredible, considering we started from P10 on the grid. That was an incredible race, and I really needed that result, and I need them 25 points to get myself right back into the World Drivers' Championship title hunt. And crucially, I think that's going to also keep Ferrari right in the mix there with Red Bull and the constructors also. But overall, a really good result. Kevin Magnussen, the star of the day, also getting a good result in P6. But once again, I apologise for the name tag issue, but that's just modding issues where I can't actually correct that. It's just coded in the game, so I can't actually change the name. But overall, a great race here today, and I got also Verstappen and Hamilton for company on the podium. But there we go, top step of the podium, 25 points. And now it's a question of where did Daniel Ricciardo finish his race, because I believe it might have not been that far up the order as I think. I'm going to guess around P5, but we'll have to wait and see in the final race results. But a big win here at Kota in Austin, Texas. So there we have it. That was an incredible USA Grand Prix, taking the win after a disappointing qualifying, really turning our fortunes around there on the Sunday. And also a complete contrast to the last race where we messed up the strategy epically in Suzuka, bouncing back with a massive 25 points here ahead of Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton in third place there, with Raikkonen and Ricciardo in fourth and fifth respectively, with Kevin Magnussen there getting a great result in P6 for Haas. But a great race. That's going to mean good things for us in the Drivers' Championship, getting ourselves right back in the mix there behind Ricciardo. Only a few races left to go now, and that's going to really put things tight up the top of the championship. And also talking about the championship, looking at the constructors now, finally you can see that we're once again establishing a dominance over Red Bull, but the gap is so close between both teams, and it's going to go right down to the wire. But nevertheless, guys, that was round 18 of the season, I believe, for the USA Grand Prix at COTA. And Korea Marino just going to try and bring the series back, going to try and transition to season 3 quite smoothly. But if you guys did enjoy the video, then a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. And also, if you could subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, that also be absolutely fantastic. And if you have missed any videos on the screen right now, I do urge you to go check them out if you haven't done so already. But nevertheless, guys, I thank you so much for watching. Hopefully there'll be more videos soon on the channel once my exam's over, so bear with me for the time being. But all I can say is thank you, and like I said, once again, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you on my next video very soon. So from me, it's goodbye.